Greetings, brothers and sisters in Christ. It's Kevin here. We finished our Lent devotions and now are doing readings from the book of Psalms. I invite you to walk with me through one today. We will be looking at Psalm 6. O Lord, rebuke me not in your anger, nor discipline me in your wrath. Be gracious to me, O Lord, for I am languishing. Heal me, O Lord, for my bones are troubled. My soul is also greatly troubled, but you, O Lord, how long? Turn, O Lord, deliver my life. Save me for the sake of your steadfast love. For in death there is no remembrance of you. In Sheol who will give you praise? I am weary with my moaning. Every night I flood my bed with tears. I drench my couch with my weeping. My eyes waste away because of grief. It grows weak because of all my foes. Depart from me, all you workers of evil, for the Lord has heard the sound of my weeping. The Lord has heard my plea. The Lord accepts my prayer. All my enemies will be ashamed and greatly troubled. They shall turn back and be put to shame in a moment. Have you ever had a spiritual high, feeling like you're at the top of the world with you at God's side, like nothing can ever go wrong again? Or maybe you were blessed with something absolutely incredible that made you say, surely this was God at work, and he has blessed me. Then maybe, even sooner than you can imagine, everything goes wrong. You already built a solid narrative in your head about how God has blessed you, and suddenly it feels like it's all falling apart. You aren't so sure about your place in the world anymore, and you don't know about your role in God's mission, or even how he feels about you. And all you feel like is crying again and again. Here is King David, an unexpected candidate for a king, and has been given so much by God already, and accomplished so many feats that any outsider might think it would be impossible to have any doubts. Yet at least for a time in his life, I envision him being so internally troubled that he was ruling as a king by day and crying to sleep at night. His body was becoming physically weak from his hurt inside, his eyes, and even his bones. He wasn't sure if it was because of his sin he was afflicted by so many enemies. But if it was, he calls out to God to lessen his discipline. He cries out, "How long?" His enemies here are relational, and it could be external or maybe internal, like antagonistic family members, but I believe it could be more abstract for us since not everyone is facing war at all times. Perhaps it could be an adversary trying to drag us away from God, or something faceless like a movement. But what I find interesting is the attitude that he approaches God in his plea. In his sorrow, he urgently requests God to deliver him. For the confidence of God's love and closeness again, that if it was sin, he wanted to get things right with God. In verse 4, David asks God to turn or return to him. And maybe it is that feeling of being distant from God that is the worst, since so many times we feel like we are already reliant on God and not sure if we can take on the world anymore without him. He also asks to shorten his troubles or discipline. He brought it upon himself, or maybe it was something he did, but we should remember that we can have confidence in God's correction because it is a sign that we are his children, because discipline doesn't feel good, but it is for our benefit. All lamenting psalms have an uplifting end to them, and in this one, David tells all those evil influences to depart from him. He recognizes that in his struggle, he needed to separate himself from ungodly things in his weakness and not be tempted by them. He is confident that God has heard him. I believe his confidence came from trust and history of his relationship with God. In times of trouble, I wonder if we can too look back in time and look at our history with God. If God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, has God been faithful? Have we felt loved before? Has he delivered us before? I pray that even in our tears we can have hope and not feed our doubts. God bless.